I'd like now to hear from CNSC staff on their update of the Port Hope Area Initiative as outlined CMD 16 M44.A and I don't know, there's two documents here, M44 and M44.A, I'll guess. I understand that Ms. Murty will make the presentation. Over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. President, members of the Commission. My name is Kavita Murthy and I am the Director of Nuclear Processing Facilities Division in the CNSC's Directorate of Nuclear Cycle and Facilities Regulation. With me today is Graham Smith and John Thielen, who are both project officers working in the Nuclear Processing Facilities Division. We also have subject matter experts with us to help answer any questions that the Commission may have. We are here to present Commission Member Document CMD 16-M44, which provides a status update for the Port Hope Area Initiative. Our presentation today will begin with a brief overview of the Port Hope Area Initiative. A lot of the historical information will not be repeated because CNL has already presented that. This will be followed by an update of each of the two main Port Hope Area Initiative projects. First, the Port Hope project, followed then by an update on the Port Granby project. These updates will emphasize current activities and project milestones achieved since the last update to the Commission in December 2014. We will then provide some additional updates on CNSC's regulatory oversight activities for the Port Hope Area Initiative. Finally, we'll provide conclusions and we will be available to answer any questions. Notices of this public meeting were published on the CNSC's public website starting in March 2016. To support public involvement, participant funding was provided to Lake Ontario Waterkeeper through CNSC's Participant Funding Program. CNSC staff's Commission Member Document was available for public comment for a 30-day period beginning on September 4th. A total of 8 interventions were received in this period. The following slide will provide an overview of the Port Hope Area Initiative. The Port Hope Area Initiative represents the Government of Canada's commitment to the development and implementation of a safe, local, long-term management solution for historic low-level radioactive waste in the municipalities of Port Hope and Clarington, Ontario. The Port Hope Area Initiative is defined by a legal agreement signed in 2001 by the Government of Canada and the municipalities of Port Hope and Clarington. Funding for the Port Hope Area Initiative is being provided by the Government of Canada, which has committed $1.28 billion towards the project. The Port Hope Area Initiative is comprised of 2 projects, as you heard, the Port Hope project and the Port Granby project, which is located in Clarington, Ontario. The 2 projects are being implemented simultaneously and share many similarities. Each project includes the construction of a long-term waste management facility and a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plants, and also the remediation of low-level radioactive waste. Canadian Nuclear Laboratories, or CNL, as we will refer to them during this presentation, hold separate CNSC waste nuclear substance licenses for each project. I will now pass the presentation to Graham Smith, who will begin by providing an update on the Port Hope project.
Good morning, Mr. President and members of the Commission. My name is Graham Smith, a Projects Officer in CNSC's Nuclear Processing Facilities Division. This figure provides an overview of some of the major milestones completed for the Port Hope project to date and highlights some of the key activities that are currently underway. The Port Hope project is being carried out in 3 project phases. The first phase is the planning phase, which began in 2001 following the signing of the Port Hope Area Initiative legal agreement. An environmental assessment was then completed for the Port Hope project under the Canadian Environmental Assessment Act in March 2007. In 2009, the Commission issued a license for the Port Hope project to Atomic Energy of Canada Limited, or AECL. With the issuance of the CNSC license, AECL took over operation of the Welcome Waste Management Facility from Chemical Corporation and continued with Port Hope Area Initiative planning activities. In 2012, following the CNSC staff's review of AECL's technical and design documents, AECL applied to the Commission for a license amendment to allow the second phase to begin. Following a public hearing, the Commission granted the amendment and extended the license until 2022. In 2014, this license was transferred to Canadian Nuclear Laboratories as a result of the recent restructuring of AECL. The project is now in the second phase, which includes all of the construction and remediation associated with the Port Hope project. As shown in the blue box on this slide, the major activities associated with this phase include construction of a long-term waste management facility, construction and commissioning of the Port Hope wastewater treatment plant, continued operation of the Welcome Waste Management Facility, conducting radiological surveys of properties throughout Port Hope, and in the near future, remediation of low-level radioactive waste from local properties and transfer of waste to the new long-term waste management facility. The following slides will provide an update on the status of each of these Phase 2 activities that CNL is currently involved with. The Port Hope Project Long-Term Waste Management Facility is an engineered above-ground containment mound designed for the safe long-term storage of low-level radioactive waste. The long-term waste management facility is being constructed on the same site as the existing Welcome Waste Management Facility and has a design capacity of 1.2 million cubic meters of low-level radioactive waste. In the fall of 2015, CNL's contractors began site preparation activities, which included excavations and stockpiling of low-level radioactive waste impacted soils from the footprint of the new long-term waste management facility. Following completion of this work in spring of 2016, CNL began construction of the first layers for the long-term waste management facility upon which waste will eventually be emplaced. This work is continuing, and CNL expects the long-term waste management facility to be ready to begin receiving waste from off-site remediation in early 2018. CNSC staff have performed several compliance inspections in 2016 as construction activities at the long-term waste management facility have increased. These activities have verified that work is being conducted safely and the long-term waste management facility is being constructed in accordance with CNSC accepted design documentation. The construction and commissioning of a new wastewater treatment plant is a key project activity, and its completion prior to conducting off-site remediation is a requirement of the CNSC license. Once operating, the new water treatment plant will treat groundwater and surface water runoff collected from the site for the remainder of the implementation phase of the project. On-site groundwater will be captured via the groundwater collection system currently in place as part of the existing Welcome Waste Management Facility that we will speak to on the next slide. The new wastewater treatment plant will also treat leachate collected from within the long-term waste management facility once it begins receiving low-level radioactive waste from remediation activities. The new wastewater treatment plant has been constructed adjacent to the water treatment building for the existing Welcome Waste Management Facility. Construction was completed in 2014, and since then, CNL has completed assembly of the water treatment system and is currently commissioning the facility. CNL expects to complete commissioning and begin plant operation in the coming months. Prior to commencing operations, CNSC will confirm readiness through on-site inspection and review of performance data collected by CNL during the commissioning phase. The CNSC license contains design objectives which provide effluent quality targets for commissioning of the new wastewater treatment plant. The Welcome Waste Management Facility is located on the same site that is currently being developed for the long-term waste management facility. It contains approximately 450,000 cubic meters of historic low-level radioactive waste originating from Eldorado's former radium and uranium refining operations in Port Hope. Waste were transferred to this facility from 1945 until 1955. At this site, groundwater that may have contacted low-level radioactive waste is collected by a series of drainage ditches which divert it to a collection pond. From there, water is treated at the existing water treatment facility prior to discharge. The Welcome Waste Management Facility site continues to undergo substantial transformation as the Port Hope project advances. However, the overall topography and integrity of the drainage ditches remain undisrupted, and therefore operation of the existing collection and treatment system is not being impacted. Since the onset of site preparation activities for the long-term waste management facility, CNL has increased the frequency of effluent quality reporting to CNSC to ensure that any changes as a result of these activities would be identified in a timely manner and responded to appropriately. Effluent quality has not been affected by these activities and continues to be within the limits defined in the license. Once the new water treatment plant is ready to begin operation, the current water treatment system at the Welcome Waste Management Facility will no longer be required. Based on review of CNL's regulatory reporting and on-site inspections, CNSC staff have verified that CNL continues to operate the Welcome Waste Management Facility safely and in accordance with the requirements of the CNSC license. A key activity that has been ongoing since 2012 is the property radiological survey. The purpose of these surveys is to test all properties in Port Hope to determine which contain low-level radioactive waste and will require future remediation under the Port Hope Area Initiative. CNL conducts 4 different tests to make this determination: interior and exterior gamma surveys, interior radon testing, and exterior soil sampling. Those properties with soil concentrations greater than those specified in the CNSC license will require remediation. CNL has organized the conduct of property radiological surveys into a series of 5 campaigns. The first campaign, consisting of 463 properties, is complete. Of these, 60 properties were determined to require future remediation. CNL is currently working on the remaining campaigns and is expected to complete this activity by the year 2020. Based on knowledge of low-level radioactive waste existence within the community, CNL anticipates that 8 to 10% of the approximately 4,800 properties being tested will be identified as requiring remediation upon completion of the radiological survey program. The photo on the right is from a recent inspection showing a CNSC inspector with one of CNL's contractors who is performing exterior gamma surveys at a residential property. In the next slides, we will provide an update on the current status of the Port Granby project. This figure provides an overview of some of the major milestones associated with the Port Granby project and highlights key activities that are currently underway. As with the Port Hope project, the Port Granby project is also being carried out in 3 project phases. The first phase began with the signing of the Port Hope Area Initiative legal agreement in 2001. Following this, an environmental assessment under the Canadian Environmental Assessment Act was completed in 2009. In 2011, following a public hearing, the Commission issued a 10-year waste nuclear substance license to CNL, then AACL, for the second phase of the project, which includes all of the construction and remediation activities. As shown in the blue box on this slide, the major activities of this phase include construction and operation of a new wastewater treatment plant, construction of a long-term waste management facility, continued operation of the existing Port Granby waste management facility, and remediation of low-level radioactive waste at the Port Granby waste management facility and transfer of that waste to the new long-term waste management facility. The next slides will provide an update on the status of these Phase 2 activities that CNL is currently involved with. The Port Granby long-term waste management facility is being constructed immediately north of the existing Port Granby waste management facility to provide long-term storage of low-level radioactive waste. Similar to the Port Hope design, the Port Granby long-term waste management facility is an engineered above-ground mound comprising multiple layers of natural and synthetic materials that will provide an effective means of managing the waste and preventing contamination from entering the environment. The long-term waste management facility design was reviewed and accepted by CNSC staff as part of the Port Granby project license application in 2011. In March 2016, CNL's contractors began site preparation activities, which continued through the summer with the construction of the long-term waste management facility baseliner. The photo on this slide was taken in June 2016, showing CNL's preparation of the long-term waste management facility site. An underpass was also constructed this summer, which allows construction vehicles to transport low-level radioactive waste from the Port Granby Waste Management Facility to the new long-term waste management facility without disruption of traffic on Lakeshore Road, which divides the two sites. Earlier this month, following completion of the baseliner, CNL achieved a major project milestone as they began placing low-level radioactive waste at the new long-term waste management facility. CNSC has performed several compliance inspections in 2016 as construction activities at the long-term waste management facility have increased. These activities have verified that work is being conducted safely and the long-term waste management facility is being constructed in accordance with CNSC accepted design documentation. A requirement of the Port Granby project license is the development and commissioning of a new wastewater treatment plant prior to waste remediation. The new water treatment plant will provide treatment of contaminated water from two sources. The plant will provide continued treatment of contaminated groundwater and surface water runoff collected at the existing Port Granby waste management facility, and following remediation, leachate from within the long-term waste management facility will be collected and treated at the new wastewater treatment plant. Construction of the water treatment plant was completed in 2014, and CNL began plant operation on April 1st, 2016. CNSC staff reviewed performance data and completed a compliance inspection to confirm readiness prior to commencing operations. As with the Port Hope project license, the Port Granby license also contains design objectives which provide effluent quality targets for commissioning of the new wastewater treatment plant. Effluent quality data collected during plant commissioning and during subsequent operations has shown that effluent quality is far better than the design objectives. Concentrations of most parameters in effluent are less than 10% of the design objectives. The existing Port Granby waste management facility contains approximately 450,000 cubic meters of historic low-level radioactive waste resulting from former radium and uranium refining operations of El Dorado Nuclear in Port Hope. Wastes were deposited at the Port Granby site beginning in 1955 and continuing until 1988. The site is equipped with a groundwater collection system which captures groundwater and diverts it to one of two reservoirs near the base of the bluffs shown as West and East Gorge on this slide's photo. From there, it is pumped to a collection pond and treated prior to discharge. Previously, collected water was treated at a small water treatment facility on site, but as of April 1st, 2016, water collected at the Port Granby site is now being treated at the new wastewater treatment plant. As of November 1st, CNL's contractors have begun remediating low-level radioactive waste at the Port Granby site. All low-level radioactive waste located at this site will be excavated and transferred to the new long-term waste management facility. CNL expects remediation and waste transfer to be completed by 2020. CNL performs environmental monitoring for the site, including monitoring of fence line gamma and radon, bluff seepage, and groundwater. Geotechnical inspections and monitoring are conducted by CNL biannually to assess erosion and stability of the bluffs, and the geotechnical inspection report is submitted to CNSC staff annually for review by technical specialists. Through review of regulatory reporting and on-site inspection, CNSC staff conclude that CNL continues to operate the Port Granby waste management facility safely and in compliance with its CNSC license. In addition to the CNSC licenses for the Port Hope and Port Granby projects, CNL holds two other CNSC licenses that have connection with the Port Hope Area Initiative. The Consolidated Sites license is managed by CNL's Port Hope Area Initiative Management Office and comprises 3 interim storage sites for low-level radioactive waste. These sites are the Sewage Treatment Plant Temporary Storage Site, Strawn Street Consolidation Site, and Pine Street Extension Consolidation Site. The waste being stored at these sites originate from previous low-level radioactive waste cleanup activities within Port Hope. The volume of waste at these sites does not change, as the license does not permit receiving of any new wastes. The second license is for the Pine Street Extension Temporary Storage Site. This site is operated by CNL's Low-Level Radioactive Waste Management Office in Port Hope and consists of 2 asphalt pads upon which wastes are stored under heavy tarpaulin covers. The waste at this storage site is from Port Hope's Construction Monitoring Program, which receives low-level radioactive waste containing materials, primarily soils, when encountered during construction activities within Port Hope. The low-level radioactive waste being stored under these licenses will be transferred to the new long-term waste management facility in Port Hope as part of remediation activities once that facility is ready to begin receiving waste. CNL carries out environmental monitoring at both of these sites, and CNSC staff perform compliance inspections at these sites on an annual basis, verifying that these sites are being managed safely by CNL. The following slides will provide information on additional activities conducted by CNSC staff as part of the regulatory oversight for the Port Hope Area Initiative licenses. As part of regulatory oversight, CNSC staff verify compliance through review of various licensee submissions. For the Port Hope Area Initiative, license-required reporting includes annual compliance reports, environmental assessment follow-up program updates, quarterly status updates on project activities, quarterly effluent quality results, and also any unplanned event reporting. Since the Commission was last updated in December 2014, CNL has reported 1 event at the Port Hope project site and 4 events at the Port Granby site. CNL met the reporting requirement for each of these events, and CNSC staff are satisfied with the remedial actions and corrective measures implemented by CNL in each case. CNL also regularly submits updates to program documents. Examples of such updates made in 2016 are the Port Hope Area Initiative Quality Assurance Plan, the Public Information Program, and Training Plan. Also, as the Port Hope Area Initiative moves closer to remediation, CNL has been developing and submitting a number of remedial planning documents in advance of those activities. In addition to review of CNL's regulatory reporting, CNSC staff regularly perform on-site compliance activities. Staff have recently increased the number of inspections associated with the Port Hope Area Initiative in response to the recent increase in activities being conducted at both project sites. From January 2015 through October of this year, CNSC staff have conducted 18 inspections for the Port Hope Area Initiative licenses. CNL has responded to all compliance activities identified during these inspections in an appropriate and timely manner. All findings were considered minor in nature and not posing a direct or immediate risk to the health and safety of workers, the public, or the environment. The photo on this slide shows CNSC staff while on inspection at the Port Granby Long-Term Waste Management Facility in August of this year. Through these inspections, CNSC staff continue to verify that CNL and its contractors are conducting activities safely and in accordance with the requirements of its CNSC licenses. The Port Hope Area Initiative is a major construction and remediation project occurring within 2 relatively small communities. Whether it be simply the presence of construction activities at the long-term waste management facility or remediation of their own property, it is likely that most residents will be impacted in some way by the Port Hope Area Initiative. In recognition of the high level of public interest, CNSC staff have conducted or participated in various outreach activities in Port Hope. This slide lists outreach activities that CNSC staff have been involved with in 2016. A CNSC 101 information session was held in Port Hope in May 2016. In this September, CNSC staff provided an information booth at the Port Hope Fall Fair to share information from our independent environmental monitoring program and to explain our regulatory oversight of this and other CNSC licensed facilities in Port Hope. CNSC held outreach sessions for interested Aboriginal groups in January and April 2016 to provide updates for the Port Hope Area Initiative and other CNSC licensed facilities in the region. In addition, CNSC staff have also attended CNL-led public outreach events, such as their Citizen Liaison Group meetings and Aboriginal engagement sessions, to discuss our regulatory role in the Port Hope Area Initiative and also be available to answer any questions. Through these activities, members of the public have shown a good general awareness of the Port Hope Area Initiative and have conveyed they are looking forward to the project's completion. Port Hope Area Initiative activities are subject to municipal, provincial, and federal regulation in addition to those required by the CNSC license. CNSC staff are committed to maintaining open communication with other regulators and stakeholders involved with the project. One mechanism for facilitating this communication is through joint regulatory group meetings. These meetings provide an opportunity for other regulators to receive updates on the project and discuss any concerns they might have and ensure their regulatory requirements are being met. The primary joint regulatory participants include Environment and Climate Change Canada and the Ontario Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. Since the last update to the Commission, joint regulatory group meetings were held in May 2015 and October 2016. CNSC staff are also frequently engaging with municipality representatives to discuss roles, perspectives, and concerns related to the project. More recently, this past September, CNSC staff participated in meetings with Municipality of Port Hope representatives, CNL, AACL, and Ontario Ministry of Environment and Climate Change to discuss concerns identified by the municipality representatives. While CNSC staff are regularly engaging with key stakeholders and regulators, it remains CNL's responsibility to ensure that any and all other applicable requirements are being met. The CNSC conducts independent environmental monitoring to verify there are no health impacts to the public and that the environment around CNSC regulated facilities is not adversely affected by releases. The Independent Environmental Monitoring Program, or IEMP, involves taking samples from public areas around licensed facilities and measuring and analyzing the amount of radiological and hazardous substances in those samples. The IEMP is also a regulatory tool that complements CNSC's ongoing regulatory compliance verification program. Sampling was conducted near Port Hope and Port Granby facilities in 2013 and 2014, focusing on both nuclear and hazardous contaminants in water and in sediment. This slide shows results of the IEMP sampling conducted in 2013 and 2014. Samples were analyzed for radium, arsenic, uranium, and ammonia. All measurements of radium-226 in water and sediment were below applicable standards, guidelines, or reference levels. The concentrations of most hazardous substances in water and sediment were also below applicable standards and guidelines. However, elevated concentrations of arsenic were measured in water and sediment during both years of sampling. These elevated arsenic concentrations were measured in samples along Brant Creek and are consistent with monitoring results reported by the licensee. These concentrations will continue to be monitored and are expected to improve following remediation of the Welcome Waste Management Facility. Overall, the IEMP results from 2013 and 2014 indicate that the public and the environment in the vicinity of the Welcome and Port Granby waste management facilities are protected, and there are no adverse environment or health effects as a result of current site operations. All results from the IEMP sampling program related to these facilities are available on the CNSC's public website. Key focus areas for CNSC staff regulatory oversight for the Port Hope Area Initiative in the near term will include the following items: ensuring necessary requirements are in place prior to transfer of safeguarded materials from their current storage location under chemical license at the Port Hope Conversion Facility to the long-term waste management facility. Development and implementation of new regulatory release limits for the wastewater treatment plants at Port Hope and Port Granby. Addressing CNL's proposal regarding cleanup of the existing contamination at the Welcome Waste Management Facility, and providing continued regulatory oversight of CNL's preparation for off-site remediation activities and the conduct of these activities once they begin. We will now complete our presentation by providing the following conclusions. Since the last report to the Commission in December of 2014, CNL has made significant progress in the advancement of the Port Hope and Port Granby projects. Through compliance inspections and desktop reviews, CNSC staff have verified that CNL continues to meet its license requirements for the operation and maintenance of the existing waste management facilities, as well as regulatory requirements associated with construction of the long-term waste management facilities. CNSC staff will continue to provide regulatory oversight for CNL's implementation of the Port Hope and Port Granby projects as both begin the remediation of low-level radioactive waste. And in the future, CNSC staff will provide annual updates to the Commission via the Regulatory Oversight Report for Waste Management, Storage, and Processing in Canada. This concludes staff's status update presentation for the Port Hope Area Initiative. We are available to answer any questions that the Commission may have.
Thank you.